Hello and welcome to another video. Something a little bit special today. We're here at Goodwood Race Circuit and I've got the opportunity to have a go as a bit of an exclusive with the new Lotus Emira. So, and hopefully be able to give you some feedback on the driving dynamics. Let's see how we go.
Yeah, tidy up the road, so it's cool. Yeah. Sorry that we weren't able to get you on the track. It was my nose.
Start us off, okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, I came here in a Lotus.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's something, isn't it?
So you have got 12-way adjustable seats, so it is brake adjustable as well, so you can come up a little bit as well.
Okay.
Also, the steering wheel goes away from you towards you, up and down. So fully adjustable. I say, obviously, with the Exige and everything like that, you're not used to that. So
no.
totally. So that's one of the steps up. Obviously, we've made in the car is obviously to brought ourselves into a modern day sports car, really, where you've got all those adjustabilities, you've got all of the things that people want on an everyday basis now.
Well, even from I mean, it's a daft thing to talk about, but the smell of that, it smells like any other kind of premium car. I'm used to the smell of glass fibre from the Lotus. I mean, obviously my Lotus is 27 years old, but you kind of almost expect a little bit of that. Nothing that bothered me, but with this, the fit and the feel, even though it's pre-production, it just seems
absolutely.
Because I had an Elise as well. I've had a Series 1, Series 2 Elise. So I'm kind of, I've had a few Lotus, and
so you know where we've come from and where we are now.
And this is, even just sitting in it now, is mighty impressive.
There's lots going on in here. Obviously, you do have all the climate control and the touch screens, and you can have adjustable between the two screens. You can have different data on different screens. So if you want to be able to drive down the road with knowing what music or radio you want the station in front of you, you want that all down here. If you want to see your G data and all that sort of stuff, you can make it all adjustable.
Slide across into the main binnacle.
You can move it all between the two screens. Right. So if we start you up, so you dip the clutch for me.
Yep.
Obviously, lift up the lovely red button here. So then about 5 seconds on the start button and she fires up.
Okay.
That helps with not accidentally turning it on, and obviously that's what this cover is for as well, also, so you don't accidentally turn it off if you were slipping.
I bet you get fed up with people saying
it's
a bit
like a Lamborghini.
I was thinking more the instrument binnacle, you know, with the was it the Rebenton they did, where they kind of picked up on the F22 Raptor. It's got a whiff of kind of fighter jet about it, hasn't it, which is lovely.
So with the drive modes, you'll notice, so we're in Tour at the moment, one little flick will just give to this screen here, and then Sport, see red on there, you'll see it's make some adjustments on the screen there, and if we go down into track, you'll see straight away you get the engine, no changes, there's no changes. So it's a bit more of a different, sort of more track vibe in the cluster there. We'll go back into Tour for the road, so you get to understand what the road driving will be like. Rest is over to you, really.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Yeah, the pedals just feel slightly canted over, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. You just sort of get used to
it. Obviously being left-hand drive as well, that might be slightly because of that. I mean, sitting here, I've got a bigger footwell this side, so that might be that.
Sure. This is lovely. This.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you have got the exposed gear linkage that you have in there. It just obviously there is just a cover on the outside here.
And my Elise had a solid metal or aluminium. And it was lovely. Yeah. It's a lovely. On those cold mornings, though.
On the hot days.
But it's just lovely to feel. It just feels proper quality, lovely solid feel to it.
This way.
So the steering wheel's interesting as well. Flat bottom, obviously, but it's quite an unusual shape, isn't it? But it's still okay for kind of hand over, close turning, isn't it? And it feels a bit of an event, actually, as a steering wheel. It's quite exciting. It's funny. I've been in so many interesting cars today, the Lamborghini and everything else, and this does feel special. It feels really nice.
That's really good to hear.
Nice precise gear change as well. Is that kind of like that noise? Is that like a transmission kind of?
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah.
Is that like a pre-production noise, or is that something that?
So you do. That's on the current Exige and Avora. You do get that every so often.
Right.
It's because we're not really we're not flowy. It's sort of that slow movement of it wants to move forwards, and
but it's not. It's a nice mechanical sound. I'm not averse to a mechanical sound.
No, it's that slow speed sort of sound in this car. So
it was quite like it because I drove recently the Cayman GTS. That's got a version of the GT4 engine.
Yeah.
And and that has lots of mechanical sound, totally different low-end mechanical sounds to the sort of higher-end mechanical sounds. So have you been involved with the development?
No, so I'm the Motorsport manager for Lotus. So I look after both Motorsport driving academies and dynamic drives of cars. No, I don't get the car until it's been completed normally, right. And then I get to have fun with it.
It's funny because I used to have a Series 2 release that was quite raw, and then a friend of mine had a friend who worked at Lotus who bought around an early Evora.
Okay.
When I drove the Evora, to me it was a lovely combination of, at the time I had a Boxster, and it was a lovely combination of everything I remembered from the Elise,
right.
But it had that little bit more sort of comfort about it, and a little bit more of a just more quality product. I mean, like a Porsche. And this kind of feels the next stage on from that. It does feel like a it feels like a lovely quality product, but it's still got that rawness that you expect in a Lotus.
Absolutely. There's still that rawness, but there's the newer sort of style of more comfort. You still know it's a Lotus.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thinking of everyday sort of sports car now, you need these upgrades really.
I mean, you still feel the bumps, but it's still quite compliant.
So this car's on the sports suspension, right, and on the Goodyear tyres. Obviously, there's the option of the Cup 2 Michelin Cup 2, right, and obviously the touring suspension as well. Right. So this is on the sports suspension, right, but it's still not very hard.
Yeah,
it's not hard.
No, it's not.
You
hard,
feel some of the road undulations, but it's not a stiff hardness of some, like the GT3 Porsche or something like that, where you go over any bump and the whole thing lifts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's still a little bit of movement in there.
You can still live with it every day.
Yeah.
It's funny. A lot of motoring journalists they're talking about they go for the touring, because I think because they've said things like it still feels like a Lotus, but you're going to have that everyday usability.
Absolutely.
But it depends what you're used to.
And that depends what you're used to. Depends what you're looking for in the car. Lots of people do ask us, what should I go for? And you sort of, it's difficult to tell anybody what they should go for, but you sort of understand what they want to do with the car and when they want to use the car, and then you can sort of talk to them about it. Obviously, you can use this car every day, So but it depends on. I would say to people, if you're going to be stop-start in in London, for example, you may be wanting to wait to the i4 and then you've got the DCT gearbox. Lots of things. But it's, people always ask us what to do, and it's like, well, it's a bit of a tricky one to tell you to do.
Even though it's a sort of a pre-production model, there's no squeaks or rattles.
No, it's it's close to final production really. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't feel like a development car.
No. I know I watched their Henry Catchpole video where he drove the prototype at the Hethel track, and he said there were lots of 3D printed components and stuff like that. That was really interesting. I suppose that was a much earlier development.
Much earlier car, yeah, absolutely.
And what's nice about it as well, from my point of view, it feels like you have to drive it. You know how a lot of especially today, with the Range Rover, where you just sit there and it does its thing, sort of thing. Whereas this, you feel really engaged with it.
It is a driver's car, and that's the really important thing to get across, is that we are still for the drivers. The car that we're producing is still that driver's car. Even though we have upgraded our technologies, we've still kept it a Lotus driver's car.
I think it's just learning where centre is, isn't it?
Don't worry. I say it's not the widest of roads either. No. So even if you come down here in a right-hand drive car, you still go, where do I need to be?
Yeah. But it's quite easy. It's easy to position on the road. Yeah. You can see really easily see where the corners are, pretty much. And you've got reversing camera, I suppose.
Yes.
And it feels. It doesn't feel cramped in here at there's nothing negative about this. It feels very spacious. But looking out the window, the car feels very small, which is reassuring.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Absolutely. Yeah, there's room for the two of us, quite comfortably.
Yeah, we're not
lots of
shoulder
space
to
around,
shoulder, are we? Like
not shoulder to shoulder. But as I say, it doesn't feel like a big car. It is, it's a fairly wide track.
Yeah, it's nice and easy to place. Is this in kilometres?
It's in kilometres, yeah.
I was going to say.
Don't worry, you're not breaking the speed limit right now.
I was going to say, it feels very quiet for doing this. Obviously, put too much sound ending in. So deliveries of these are soon, aren't they, for customers?
Yep, so next month should be the first delivery, or will be the first delivery for customers.
And are they all first edition models?
Yes.
So is there this is a bit of a weird question, but is there a most popular colour at the moment that's...
It's funny, so I took part in the road shows we did around the dealerships, and a lot of people were asking sort of what colour to do and that sort of stuff. It's actually quite fair across the line. I mean, there's quite a few Seneca Blue, I think, because people saw the Seneca Blue and they were so struggling with colour match, what to do, and they could see that one in front of them. So we sort of advising people to go, obviously if that's what they wanted, that was up to them, but just to think about it and look at the configurator and look at the colours on there and look at the options, because don't just go with what you can see in front of you. And that was the thing. So, but actually the orders we've seen, the data, it's actually fair across the colours actually. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. Because I'm kind of drawn to the yellow and the blue.
Yeah,
with the black roof.
The brightness with the black pack. I mean, they look great without the black pack as well.
Yeah, sure.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is.
I don't. Again, we've not wanted to advise everybody, but it's personal choice, isn't it? But what I think what a lot of people are saying is that they've sat on the configurator for days on end and they just can't work it out. What's the best way to do it? Because everyone looks great.
Sure. Yeah. I think for me, the black roof thing, because that to me seems like a relatively, Ferrari did it, and it just seems like it really makes it look very modern. And it makes it very sort of cockpit look to it. So to differentiate it from some of the earlier Lotus products, the black roof really worked for me. So, yeah, I love the colour of this interior as well. It's,
that's been people saying, "Oh, I don't know if I want to go with that colour," and then you see it in this car and you go, "Yeah, absolutely, it's quite nice." We've got a Magma Red with the ice grey interior.
Right.
That is one of the press cars coming out, and again, the ice grey is it's quite a light colour, but it really opens up the cockpit into a nice open colour. It's tough. Colours and interior is tough, I'll tell you that now.
It's very much a personal thing, isn't it? You just hope people choose it with their heart and they don't just sort of go for resale colours.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So what's the sort of the numbers then? Is it sort of what's the 0 to 62?
And we haven't announced any of those fully yet, I don't believe. We're still obviously, we're trying to keep it to the end, I think. But
sure.
if I'm honest, because I don't spend a lot of time in the communication side, not 100% sure that we've announced all of those numbers yet. So, I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I'm not sure. I'd hate to tell you the wrong information.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I think before options they're coming in at sort of like 70 or around 70,000.
So obviously the first edition starts at 75,995, and then there's adders on. So base price 59,995, and obviously the strip right back. Base model.
But it's a great price point, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's sort of the Cayman kind of territory.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So full spec first edition with all of the options, the black pack and the home start, all that sort of thing. Sub 80 grand. Yeah. It's that's and you are getting.
It's a lot of car for the money.
You get a lot of car for your money, absolutely.
And to me, it feels a Cayman rival, which is what I suppose as a Lotus did use it as, that's what I wanted and what I was looking for is that it can compete with that, because I think that's what it needs to compete with.
Right, yeah.
I think obviously the Evora and the Exige to a certain extent would struggle to do that, because the other products were that much newer and whatever else, and now this being bang up to date feels like it's going to do it.
Well, that's the thing, you know, being the first car in a number of years that we've done fresh, and not an upgrade or a new model. Yeah, it's amazing to be able to go brand new and take that market. And let's see how we go. I mean, it's a beautiful car.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's got their fingers crossed for you. I think anybody you speak to wants Lotus to do well, and it's been so well received, hasn't it?
Really First Speed last year was a very busy weekend. Deposits and interest in the car, and you know, and it's only gone bigger since, you know, so many people interested in the car and wanting to write about it, record about it, you know, and own it. That's the exciting thing. People wanting to own it. It's you know, when you launch a new car, you just go, have we got this right? And well, hopefully we have.
Get the money back into the company and come up with more product.
Absolutely.
Well, I can honestly say I'm really impressed with it. It's a lovely thing. I think it's going to do.
Well, I'm glad we've been able to get you out in the car. On the road, I know, but
but no, it's nice to drive on the road. I don't think there's many people, I suppose, that have had the opportunity.
Well, we haven't actually done road drives at all today.
Right, yeah.
So you're the only actual person today that's been on a road drive today.
I think I've only seen Henry Catchpole on the track. No, that's great. No, thanks for the opportunity.
That's absolutely fine. Lovely. And then just on the button to turn it off. And there you go.
That's great.
Just
well,
that.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
brilliant.
You for your time.
Excellent. Yeah, that's as good as I hoped.
Good. Good.
To sum up then, I'm really impressed. After driving the Emira on British B roads, I'm even more convinced than I was before that Lotus have got a hit on their hands. The car I drove had been pounding around the Goodwood circuit all day, but it still felt tight and fresh. The hydraulically power-assisted steering is really engaging, and there's a lovely fluidity to how it moves down the road and in the corners. On the bumpy B roads around Goodwood, even with the optional track suspension on the car that I drove instead of the standard Tourer chassis setup, it felt compliant and comfortable, but still with the raw drivability of a Lotus. I think it's going to appeal to a wider audience. The problems like smelling of glue, the difficult entry and exit because of the sills, and the slightly behind the curve build quality that were present on previous Lotus cars are all gone now. This is a car that will appeal to the drivers, Lotus's core market, but also anyone who wants a thoroughly modern sports car with all the latest tech and comfort that they can use every day. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you get the chance. It lets you know when I produce new content. Thanks again, and bye for now.